Hey, what's happening, guys? I hope everyone's having a good one. Today I want to talk about The Punisher, now streaming on Netflix, starring Jon Bernthal as vigilante Frank Castle, who will seek to avenge the murder of his family. Now, this review is going to contain some spoilers, so if you haven't finished it yet, go do so immediately, then come back and check the video out. Now, I've been waiting for this show since Bernthal's first scene in Season 2 of Daredevil, and it did not disappoint. Bernthal was perfect in this role, and he carries this season on his shoulders with ease. It's a 13-episode run that is continually progressing from start to finish, and I absolutely loved it. It doesn't lose focus of the main plot, it doesn't fill the season with unneeded characters or story arcs, none of the episodes felt like filler, and I thought each one really stood on their own legs for building strong foundations and motivations for the character, as well as progressing the main plot line along. I really appreciated the detail this story took in exploring the life of Frank Castle. It captures the emotional torment that he feels from the loss of his family. I thought the past life with his family was perfectly captured throughout the season to kind of constantly remind you why Castle was hell-bent on taking out everybody responsible. Every story is like an onion with many layers, and I thought this storyline really peeled them back effectively with a smooth progression to keep the intrigue high. You were constantly learning more about the character and seeing more of his personality and his backstory. It explores the character with a level of detail that we've never really seen before on screen, and honestly I thought it was compelling from start to finish. I thought this season did a fantastic job of exploring his life in the military as well as his involvement in this program called Cerberus, and I thought it really did add a lot of depth to his character. Castle did a lot of stuff he's not proud of under the pretense of protecting his country, and he's definitely scarred from it, and it really shows how he knew what he was doing was wrong and how it built a lot of animosity for him being in this group until that inevitable clash with Agent Orange. By diving into this section of the Frank Castle backstory, we learned so much more about how Castle's family was killed, so basically Agent Orange could just move on to the next phase of his career, which really adds a lot of substance to the backstory. Taking Castle and his family was merely just collateral damage for a man wanting to further his own career, and this was effectively able to just build a strong viewer motivation for wanting Castle to get his revenge as well. You take all these strongly woven story elements and you add them with an awesome performance from Jon Bernthal, and what you get to me is the best Marvel series we have seen on Netflix. It's extremely well-rounded, the casting was excellent, the structure to the story was sound and complete, and all the action and hyper-violence was just woven together with a nice seamless flow. Jon Bernthal was absolutely next level in this role. Despite being perfectly tailored for the character, he delivers a performance that hits every emotional note it needs to. The rage, the heartache, the skill, sincerity, the determination, the charm, the vulnerability. You see it all from Bernthal in this role. I mean, he is a comic book character, but he's a human being, not a hero, and this season really captured his vigilante mindset perfectly, I thought. I really enjoyed Eben Moss-Backrack as Micro. I thought he was excellent in this series. He is in a very similar position to Frank Castle. Not that his family is gone, but that his own life is basically gone, and Micro and Castle are absolutely oil and water, and despite their differences, it's in their best interest to work together to kind of find the truth, and this season really explored their relationship with a surprisingly heartfelt result. I thought they had a great chemistry with one another, and their interactions really did feel grounded and fitting to the situations that they faced. Their differences in decision making and how they handled certain situations really did create some compelling interactions between them, and they did have that awkward chemistry that just gave their relationship a nice sincerity. Ben Barnes, as Billy Russo, was an excellent addition to this season. He looks to possibly be heading to the role of the villain Jigsaw if this show gets a second season, but I thought regardless, as the self-absorbed, arrogant Billy Russo, he was a fantastic antagonist. His character was given a nice origin story of his own to play out in parallel with Castle's, and the connection and their friendship really did fuel the impending hatred that Castle would experience very effectively. Russo was Castle's friend, even more so, he was like his brother, and this double cross was woven perfectly in this season to land the full emotional impact of everything. Now let's talk about the action. I absolutely loved it. There was a nice blend of fighting and gunplay, and it was all really incorporated into the course of the season nicely. It wasn't just action slapped into the story here and there. It was really born from the situations, and it gave just a lot of extra weight to the sequences, I thought. The action was gritty, it was extremely violent, it was bloody, and for me at least, it was all I was hoping for, and I thought Bernthal was fantastic in the action sequences, and with his ability to pull off a lot of the stunt work himself, it just allowed the camera techniques to come off that much more fluid. The editing of everything was nice and tight, it wasn't hyper-cut, and nothing really felt over-choreographed, and everything really came off grounded and realistic and raw like I was hoping. I also really enjoyed how this season stood on its own. There are some connections to the shared world of other shows and the MCU overall, but it was never a reliance or a focal point point. This was a compact story that really created a perfect arc for a first season. There's definitely room for a second season, or it could be complete on its own. And overall, season 1 was a surprisingly heartfelt origin story for the Punisher, and I'm going to give it 95% on the entertainment meter. I loved it. The casting was great. The story progression was fantastic. I would have liked maybe a couple more fight sequences here and there, but as it was still a great time. I highly recommend it, and I cannot wait for a season 2 if there is one. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're still here, I have a viewer giveaway. I have one digital copy of Kong Skull Island. Just go to the website below, enter the code that you see on the screen, and if you're the first one to get it, it's all yours, so I hope you enjoy. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can join in on all the movie talk. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, you're all fantastic. I'm Anthony. This is the Silver Screen Analysis, and I'll see you at the movies.